Posso partire velocissima? Sono molto contenta dell'opportunità che ci è stata data di preparare questo, di fare questo evento importantissimo. Ringrazio Noemi Di Segni, che è stata veramente eccezionale nel darci questa mano, questa opportunità, e sono la presidente di Anavim, che è questa associazione ebraica culturale, diciamo, ma si occupa di molte cose, moltissime cose nel campo dell'ebraismo, della comunità, eccetera. E volevo dare appunto il benvenuto a Noemi, che gestirà tutta la serata, e in particolare ai nostri ospiti da Israele, Yzhar Lifshiz, che in questo momento non vedo, ma sarà da qualche parte.
Eccolo, Yzhar è con la camicia beige, eccolo Yzhar. Izzy, c'è scritto
Izzy è lui. Baruch haba. Eli Shtivi, con cui abbiamo parlato un pochettino prima, e Yossi Vardi, che ci ha raccontato una piccolissima parte della sua storia. Baruchim Abbaim. E vi lascio col vostro programma. Grazie.
So I make a short introduction because really our interest is to listen to you, Yzhar and Eli, and then we will, of course, also be happy to listen to the project that with Yossi Vardi, Yzhar is bringing on. So, of course, for us, it's we know we are living through very, very hard hours, and probably the Middle East and what will happen in the next hours, days, and weeks will be definitively very, very relevant for the future of all of us. But of course, this doesn't mean that we forget and we put aside all the issue of what we passed since October 7th, and especially the hostages and the Hatufim, and each story and each family in each situation is of course an entire world and is dramatic. And so first of all, I wish to tell you, Yzhar and Eli, that from the beginning, of course, from the first hours, as Italian communities, I think like everybody else around the world, but we follow every detail, every story, everything that can be done, and we are part of this tremendous situation that our people live through. So, of course, Italy has 21 communities. The community that has promoted this evening with us is Torino, very, very active. Each city, each community has its own story, but today it's dedicated to listen to your story and to your experience, how from the deepest sorrow and of course horror, you found the energy, the strength, the resilience to see towards the new horizon and the future, and what can be built out of the tragedy. So I think this is really the focus of this evening together. So to Yzhar in particular, I had the privilege and the honor to be with your mother, Yochevet, when she came to Italy. So I also have this small cactus, but also other people from the family who came with her. And it was just before Hanukkah when she came. And with Eli, we met in April, and maybe we didn't put it explicitly on the program of the evening, but to mention to everybody that Eli is the father of Idan, whose body is in Gaza. The army at least considers him officially as a body, but of course Eli, for different reasons that maybe he will share, he believes it's not the final and formal situation of his son. So even on this, there is really a lacerating situation. Not everybody knows exactly the situation. So we saw that this morning the military and the Israeli, the special operation to bring back the bodies of other 3 hostages. Of course, we hope every morning that the situation, like a magic, will be solved, and we know we don't have any magicians around to solve all the problems, but at least to have some more air in our lungs to breathe together. So I think really our interest is to listen to you. But maybe we start. Eli, is it fine with you? Because you are in an evening with other people. Is it okay that we hear Yzhar and then we hear you?
Maybe
you prefer to speak because you are in the middle of the visit.
I'm here, the seat in the family Samerano, the body.
It came with you, that came this morning, yes.
You sit here, many people. You come for the, Shiva. You come and pray for him, and you can give him a hug. The Kobe Yelet Samerano. It's a very, very difficult today because like roulette, Russian roulette. Before you tell me you have 3 people die, you come to Israel. You give them the Israel back. And I don't know the name. And I think maybe my son, every my parents, you say, maybe this is my son, this is my daughter. It's very problem. And later, 2 hours, 3 hours, she say, Jonathan Samerano and the girls and, the name. Noemi, maybe now I talk Hebrew and you...
Yes, I will translate, okay.
Okay?
Yes.
אז מה שאמרתי עד עכשיו הם בטח הבינו, אבל אני רוצה להגיד לכם שהמצב, קודם כל אנחנו מרגישים במדינת ישראל עכשיו, ידה אל העליונה, אנחנו מנצחים, אנחנו רואים במלחמה הגדולה הזאת נגד איראן, many hope, הרבה תקווה, גם לגבי החטופים, כי עכשיו המלחמה עם החמאס נראית מאוד קטנה, ואנחנו יכולים גם לוותר ולהגיד להם, אוקיי, תביאו לנו את החטופים, נסיים את המלחמה, אנחנו עכשיו במלחמה גדולה, ואנחנו פנינו לכיוון שלום, לעשות שלום, אבל מתוך עוצמה, מתוך...
רגע, אני אתרגם. רגע, allora la sensazione che Eli rappresenta dal suo punto di vista è che Israele in questo momento è in una posizione di superiorità militare ovviamente rispetto all'Iran e che sta vincendo, e quindi dà una sensazione di forza, di speranza e di capire in qualche modo che anche la guerra, che quella di Hamas in qualche modo sembra piccola rispetto a quella dell'Iran, che sia un canale per risolvere anche la situazione a Gaza, specialmente di poter riavere tutti gli ostaggi, tutti quanti insieme. E quindi lui dice: noi guardiamo verso la pace, cioè adesso potrebbe arrivare a una situazione di dire ok, basta, chiudiamo la guerra a Gaza, ridateci tutti gli ostaggi e chiudiamola qui, ma gli ostaggi sono il perno di tutta la situazione, ma noi guardiamo verso la pace.
כן, ובנוסף, גם ככה אפשר להביא את החטופים שלנו, ראיתם, היום הביאו 3, ואפשר להביא אותם עוד חודש, אבל אין זמן לחטופים שחיים, צריך להביא אותם מיד. אם אפשר להביא אותם בעסקה יותר טוב. אחר כך מטפל בחמאס. כרגע,
Dice che gli ostaggi, cioè non c'è tempo, non hanno tempo, quindi sì, si possono fare altre operazioni militari che sono diradate nel tempo e hanno una certa sequenza, però se si riescono a portare tutti insieme con un accordo, un negoziato è ancora meglio. Dice meglio avere subito tutti gli ostaggi e poi dopo ci occuperemo di Hamas dal punto di vista dell'annientamento del pericolo di Hamas, ma adesso la cosa più importante è che ritornino gli ostaggi.
אני דווקא רוצה לדבר על הקומיוניטי, על הקהילות של כל אירופה, ובאירופה באמת יש חטופים שקיבלו אזרחות מיידית באופן אוטומטי, כדי שהחמאס יסתכל עליהם אחרת, לא יהיו ישראלים, אלא זה משחרר. תראו למשל את עידן אלכסנדר, שהוא אמריקאי, ואמריקה הוציאה אותו. אז לכן עשו גם אזרחות בגרמנית לכמה חטופים, ופורטוגלית, ובריטית. אני חושב שגם במקרה אני אמור להיות עם פספורט
איטלקי,
ועידן היה מקבל אולי פריבילגיה כדי להשתחרר מהשבי שם. כי הם מתייחסים לזה החמאס. אם הוא לא ישראלי ויש לו פספורט אחר, אז הם משחררים יותר מהר. תראו את הרוסים, קודם כל שחררו את הרוסים, אחר כך מהגרמני ואחר כך את האמריקאים.
Sì, allora Eli ha fatto riferimento al fatto che diversi ostaggi, quelli che avevano una doppia cittadinanza o che avevano la cittadinanza comunque europea, nell'orrore di Hamas in qualche modo avevano alla fine un privilegio, una preferenza nelle trattative. Allora diverse famiglie, diversi ostaggi hanno in qualche modo da alcuni paesi ricevuto delle seconde cittadinanze, cosa che nel pensiero possa generare una preferenza, un vantaggio, un elemento in più per poter avere una pressione su Hamas. Quindi qualcuno che l'ha avuta, bene, abbiamo visto ovviamente il caso adesso a qualcuno della Germania, il caso di Eli nello specifico per la storia della sua famiglia, che il papà proviene anche dalla Libia, ha avuto un riconoscimento di una cittadinanza, cioè un percorso che stiamo cercando di capire meglio anche col Ministero degli Interni, e ha avuto una cittadinanza italiana ma al tempo del fascismo, cioè addirittura firmata da Mussolini, una cosa particolarissima dei documenti di Eli che stiamo esaminando, e di riavere la cittadinanza italiana per fare in modo che Idan possa essere anche lui riconosciuto come italiano e quindi forse una preferenza.
כן, אני רוצה להגיד משהו נוסף. קודם כל, אנחנו, כל העם היהודי, כל העם היהודי יכול להיות מאוד מאוד גאה עכשיו במדינת ישראל וביהודים. אנחנו, ידנו עליונה, אנחנו די ניצחנו במלחמה עם איראן, ואמריקה באה איתנו יחד ביחסים מצוינים דיפלומטיים של דונלד טראמפ, הנשיא, וגם ראש הממשלה שלנו. אנחנו עושים דברים שזה לא נתפס, ממש בגדר דמיוני, ומצליחים, ואני אומר את זה בשביל באמת כל הקהילות וכל היהודים שיכולים להיות ממש גאים מה שצבא ההגנה שלנו עושה, הצה"ל עושה פה בארץ ובכלל בעולם, ויש לנו תקווה גדולה לגמור את הסיפור עם עזה, עם החטופים, בעקבות הניצחון הזה, שאנחנו לא באופוריה, זה ממש אמיתי. אנחנו האזרחים מוכנים להיות בסבל של טילים עכשיו, ולהתאפק עד שננצח. תודה.
Eli ha sottolineato che in questo momento c'è molto da essere molto orgogliosi dello Stato di Israele, del popolo, della forza e della resilienza che si ha vincendo questa guerra con l'Iran e sperando veramente che questo porti verso una situazione di alleggerimento di tutto quello che stiamo vivendo. Molto orgogliosi e molto importante anche per le comunità di ricevere questa energia e questa forza di speranza rispetto alla situazione che si ha adesso. E abbiamo visto delle cose incredibili che siamo riusciti a fare in questo periodo e dà molto senso di orgoglio e di forza.
נעמי, אז אני חייב לסיים כי אני פה
ברור.
עם התקשורת, רוצה לראיין אותי, ותודה לכולם. אני שמח
תודה לך אלי, תודה ובהצלחה, ושנקווה שגם איזשהו שביב באמת שיקרה גם בשבילכם, בשביל כולכם, בשביל לעידן, שיהיה נס שיחזור בחזרה, ושנוכל כולנו יחד איתך גם לנשום בחזרה.
צריך להתפלל, וכדי שכולם יבואו בעזרת השם בריאים וחיים ובריאים.
יופי, אז תביא גם את תנחומנו באמת לכולם, למשפחות עכשיו, לכולם שם ביחד. מכולנו, כי אני זוכרת שהיינו כאן ביחד ברומא כשהם באו באפריל.
תודה רבה.
ביי אלי, תודה רבה. אוקיי. אז יזהר, אנחנו עוברים אליך. Passiamo a sentire Yzhar adesso che ci rappresenta lui. כן, בבקשה.
Okay, so we heard what Shtivi say, and it's a difficult time now because Shtivi has his own son that's still in capture, and we all know Samerano we are working with, and it's a sad day, but also happy because it's a closure, kind of closure for Samerano. And I've been in that situation 2 months ago with my father. So I will tell my story. My name is Yzhar Lifshiz, and I am the son of Oded Lifshiz and Yocheved Lifshiz that kidnapped from the kibbutz to Gaza the 7th of October. And I want to tell about the kibbutz, a bit about what is kibbutz and about the kibbutz. Kibbutz Nir Oz, it's a small community of 400 people. Established, the first pioneers came at 1956, and it was just sent, they came as a movement of Hashomer HaTzair, and groups from Haifa, that's where my father born, and also my mother born in Rishon LeZion, and they met in Kibbutz Nir Oz, and they married, and they have 4 kids. And this Kibbutz Nir Oz is a kind of project of my father and my mother. It's a project that starts with a tent and sand, but great belief that we can build something on the border of Gaza in the Negev. And they believe and they build it also, because now Kibbutz Nir Oz damaged so much, but it was like paradise. Trees and houses and kids and a swimming pool and a small community that live together, celebrate holidays and go to trip together and education together and everything together inside the kibbutz. It's a small community, and also we grow in a kindergarten house, and my kindergarten teacher are 8 women from the kibbutz also was. So I want to tell about the kibbutz, that it was kind of a small community that lived together and everybody knows everybody, and this is what was. And at the 6th of October, 1923, it was a kind of, everybody believed it's going to be okay. It's hard to explain what happened to the kibbutz because everybody believed it's going to be okay. We suffer more than 20 years from Qassams and shooting and bombs and stuff like this. Also tunnels that cross the border to the area of the kibbutz here. But we know it's going to be okay because the army going to defend us. And if something going to happen, we will fight against and it's going to be okay. Okay, it's mean that we know that maybe one or two from the kibbutz or other kibbutz going to die in a terror attack. But okay, that we are live in a safe place called kibbutz Nir Oz in a country called Israel. And we have the IDF that is really strong army, and he will save us. It's kind of belief. And on the 7th of October, what happened? That 6:30 in the morning, army of terrorists cross the border and get to the kibbutz, and nobody understood how big the event is because they came at the first wave about 150 terrorists, and they break into the kibbutz. I spoke with my father, and he told us that he heard the Qassam at the beginning. Then he said that he heard the shooting bullets from rifles. Then he heard talking Arabic beside the window. Then he say, okay, we will wait till the army will come and save us. And then no answer in the phone. And that was the last time I spoke with my father. And also I spoke half an hour before this. What I described now, it was his uncle talked to him. At the 7th of October, 5 terrorists from the Hamas break into the house of my parents, and they shoot the door of the mamad. We call the shelter mamad in Hebrew, and they shoot the door. My father hold the handle, and they wounded him 2 bullets in his hand. They break into. They took my father and my mother. They beat them, and my father lose contract, so they throw him out of the house, and they took my mother on a motorcycle, one in front, one in the back, and ride to Gaza. My mother described that she saw hundreds of people that ran from the fence, from the border to the kibbutz with guns, with knives, with sticks, I don't know how to call it. They beat her, they took the jewelry from her, stuff like this. And at the time she arrived to the Gaza border, they took her with car into the tunnels. And this is my mother's story at the 7th of October. She get into the tunnels. What happened in the kibbutz Nir Oz? They break into the houses in kibbutz Nir Oz, and they torch the houses after they kidnap the people. Sometimes they torch the houses with the people. It's hard to explain it, but they shoot doors, shoot kids. Whatever you think happened in Nir Oz, happened in Nir Oz. Also they rape, everything you can think. But what makes Nir Oz different from other places? That it started at 6:30 in the morning, ended at 1 o'clock at the noontime, and the army did not arrive in. So at the time they understood they are alone in the kibbutz. They behave like the kibbutz belong to the Hamas. They took bicycles and ran in the kibbutz. They torched the houses. They look for money and stuff inside. They break into houses. They torch them. They do whatever they want. They took tractors from the garage and start to drive to the Gaza border. It was like a place that they play with the population. And it's so terrible. I don't know how to explain it, but it's so terrible because we have in the kibbutz a WhatsApp net that everybody connect to the WhatsApp net. As when people stuck in the mamad, in the shelters, they can read the messages in the WhatsApp. And the message was, when the army gonna be here? They torch the houses. They break into this house of my neighbor. They kidnap someone. They light the, I don't know, whatever you think that they can read, it's happening in this line. And it starts the first hour, the second hour, the same. And it's hard to explain what happened to community that 1 in 4 kidnap or murder inside the kibbutz, kidnap to Gaza or murder, 1 in 4. But everybody in the kibbutz, what happened to them, they are in shock because they wait for the army. And also my father was a soldier. He was a parachuter. He came, they call this unit Nahal in Israel. They came as a movement to the kibbutz, and then they joined to the army as the Nahal. And the Nahal is a kind of, they are also do agriculture and involved in everything that happened in the kibbutz, and also go to the. Everything is okay? Okay.
We follow.
So
we follow and we hear with a lot of attention.
Okay, thank you. So for me, it also was a shock because my father, for me, was a hero. He was in the war of Israel, in Yom Kippur, and the 6-Day War, and also in Lebanon War. And for me, he was a hero. And the situation that the kibbutz, everybody wait to the army, and the army is stuck wherever the army is stuck, and you don't know. I don't want to talk about what happened with the army, but the fact is everybody wait for the army, and people that there were soldiers say that we are sure the army going to be here in a minute, in 2 minutes, in an hour, and after 4 hours, everybody lock the doors, hold the handle, and doesn't matter if you speak Hebrew and tell them go out, they knew that they are alone inside. And there is many stories of old women with grandsons that inside the shelter, and many stories that kids kidnapped and father died. And you say you know the details of the 7th of October, so you know what happened in kibbutz Nir Oz. But what I want to say that today the community, and this is what important, today the community is so damaged, and we don't know what is the damage is, because I don't know where I be in the next year, but I'm sure I'm going to be strong because my kids are okay, my mother is okay. This is the situation, and my father died, so I know my situation. But there are many people in the kibbutz that they lose their own son and the husband and the neighbor and whatever you think that can happen, sometimes the whole family. And the damage is so big that for me, what is important is that the community be able to come back to kibbutz Nir Oz. I know it's not going to be the same community that it was, and probably many of them going to say, I don't want to see Nir Oz anymore because it's like in the Shoah, like a camp for them, because everything is damaged, and the memories, and people that release at 2 o'clock at noontime saw bodies on the grass and heard the stories and smell everything. And the kibbutz looks so bad that people say some of them don't want to see the kibbutz anymore. But there is a big group in the kibbutz that say, I will build the kibbutz again. And I want to talk about this group because I'm one of them. And I believe that I can't change the past. But the future belongs to us, and we're going to build whatever we can do. When you say before that it was so terrible because what happened and stuff like this, and we want to build, don't forget that we are in the middle of the event. We still have 50 inside. Also from my community, Kibbutz Nir Oz, we have 4 alive inside. It's Eitan Horen, it's the Kunyo's brother, and Tzagauker, the son of Tzagauker, and others that the body is kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz or murdered inside in the tunnels. But we are in the middle of the event. But because it's such a long time, we have to start to build it and create something that's we can't wait till the end of the event of the hostages. We start to build it. We have to build the houses. We have to call the people that say it's okay to live in Kibbutz Nir Oz, to say, okay, we're going to build you nice houses there, good atmosphere, a lot of quality education, and I don't know, even the food, even the holidays, even whatever we're going to give to the kibbutz, we have to give the best of the best, because we want that Nir Oz as a symbol, it's going to be something that create a life, and everybody in the world will see and know that whatever happened in Nir Oz, we're going to build it again. And it's so important for me, also for my father. I can show you my father. This is my father, Yzhar Lifshiz. If you saw this picture before. So he's living now in Nir Oz, in the graveyard. We have many of them. We buried more than 60 people. So I want to say that this, what I want from the other people, I want you to say, wow, we want to see Nir Oz alive. We want to see the community became not like it was, but a new community. Part of the people from the kibbutz will come back to the kibbutz, and other people that will come with kids. And we want to see education in the kibbutz. We want to see life in the kibbutz. We want to see people happy in the kibbutz. And it's going to be hard. I'm sure the first 10 years going to be really hard because of the memories, because of the people that come. But it's something that we have to do. We have to do. I don't know how to explain it. I feel it in my stomach. I have to do it. It's not if I want to do it. I have to do it. I born in kibbutz. 4 of my kindergarten teacher murdered, and they are also in the graveyard. 2 of my kindergarten teacher kidnapped and released. My mother released. This is how the community is going to be looks like. A lot of problems in the community, but we have to bring something new. We have to bring new life to the community. We have to show the people that they are exhausted now, that we bring something that they're going to say, I want to live in Kibbutz Nir Oz, or I don't want to live in Kibbutz Nir Oz. But when they see Kibbutz Nir Oz is alive, a good place to live with, quality of life, happiness, they will maybe decide, yes, we're going to live in Kibbutz Nir Oz. And I hope that will happen. So I joined to Yossi, that will talk after me, Yossi Vardi. And it was his idea, I must admit, we are working together, but it was his idea from his own point of view about the kibbutz and what happened in the kibbutz and what should happen in the future. But I found a friend and a partner that believe inside his heart that to build Kibbutz Nir Oz, to make Kibbutz Nir Oz the best, to live, to bring high tech, to bring life, to bring happiness, it's a mission, not because you want to do, because also, or as I say, you have to do. And we both together work on this project that's called Binah BaLev. And we're going to build this in a kindergarten house that was the kindergarten house of the Bibas and also for other kids from the kibbutz. And it's so important that this place that now looks damaged going to be like a campus alive with people, with jobs, create something, bring new life to the whole area of kibbutz Nir Oz called Moatza Ezorit Eshkol. And that's it. And I want to say thank you to everybody that listened to my story. And as I say, I'm still in the middle of the event because we have people from the kibbutz. I know Samerano. Later, I'm going to visit her in her grave. But this is our life for more than a year and almost 9 months. So what can I say? I bring the mic to. If you want to ask question, it's okay for me. If you want Yossi to talk, whatever you want.
I think some people want to have some questions, but קודם כל תודה יזהר ממש על הכוח, על האומץ, על היכולת לסדר את המחשבות ולהסביר אותם בצורה מסודרת. זה גם לא ברור, זה גם לא ברור מאליו, צריך גם לזה כוח. אני חושבת שהאנשים שכאן, ששמעו את הסיפור, הם ירצו לשאול כמה שאלות, אם זה בסדר לך.
בסדר גמור, כמה שהם רוצים.
Potete scrivere le domande anche in italiano, le traduciamo anche in inglese, o se le volete scrivere se le volete scrivere in italiano io le posso tradurre in inglese e così. So the first question is, you see it, how is it possible that the army didn't arrive in time? So we know it's not an easy question, but what is your thought around it?
First, it's not a question, it's a fact. The army didn't arrive. And what happened in kibbutz Nir Oz happened. This is a fact. And
yeah,
we
it's
all,
a tragedy.
Also your community and my community and all the Jewish people should understand it and deal with it. Because it's a fact. It's so, and it's happened in a lot of places, not only in Nir Oz, also in Be'eri. But the army came, but small force of army. But it's happened also in the Nova Festival. It's happened in many places. But Nir Oz, nothing came. Not the police, not the army, not nothing. No, the Air Force, nothing. And it was like, black hole that they came, go out, took, at 12 noontime, they took old woman, TV, baby on a club car and ride 10 kilometers straight to Gaza. How could it be? It's in Israel, in the Negev. This is a question that I don't have an answer, but I know that Nir Oz located in the places that all the road to Nir Oz, you have to cross the junction called junction of Maon and junction of Tel Jama. This junction, the terrorists took this junction, and all the forces that tried to get to Nir Oz, small force, stuck at the time they tried to. And also nobody understood the big picture. The army couldn't understand the big picture because they destroyed all the intelligence lines, and also they attack the army bases. So they have a plan, and the plan succeed. They attack the army. They attack the connection between these bases to the main connection in the Kiryat in Tel Aviv. They cut everything. They knew what they do. So the army defend the army because they attack the army wherever the army located, and there is no defense to the kibbutzim, also not to the festival. And there is many people that came, civilians that took their own gun and ran to the Negev, and some of them died, and some of them are great Israeli heroes. But to explain why we don't have an army, I think we slept. We slept, and it was a holiday, and everybody prayed in the synagogues. But I don't know how to, it's hard to explain it, but it's something inside that we couldn't see the whole picture. We knew parts. And we thought if they're going to attack with 100 people, maybe, but not with 3,000. And they done what they done. And it's also a question for us because, we have the Mossad and the Shabak, and they're so good. And how could it happen in our own place? So this is a question that we're gonna deal with it for the next years. But I want to say that after the 7th of October, we saw that how brave the new generation of the soldier in Israel. They are really fighters. They give their life. They want to release the hostages. And sometimes, even if you don't agree with what the government do, they go and they fight and they do whatever they can do to bring the hostages back. But my opinion, I can say it here, we have to bring the life hostages now. Whatever they want, we should give them. Second, after they give us, if they're going to give us, we have to deal with the problem, because this is something that makes us united. And this is something that, as a Jew, we know what is Pidyon Shvuim, and what connect us as communities from the outside, the inside the army, inside the Israeli society. So this is my opinion, and I'm speaking about it in the TV, in the media, with other people. But right now, we have a problem. And I hope they're gonna back the all 50 and the 20 that that we know that they are alive. Maybe it's a 22, but 20 we know that they are still alive. And we are not forget that 41 murder inside Gaza after they kidnapped alive. And this is also something that my community in the kibbutz have to deal with. It's something so terrible, because after they kidnapped, all the kibbutz say, bring them home now, the first day. And we are still waiting a year and 9 months. And this is so hard, but that's the situation.
Yzhar, did you have a chance to meet with the hostages that came back recently in the February agreement, and those who were released with all the special theater that Hamas organized, and so to understand, because your mother was released with the first agreement.
After
So
70
of course
days.
she
Yes.
suffered endless, but it was like horror of 50 days. Did you meet also with those who stayed more than a year, the recent one, and understand, or you preferred not to?
I believe I met all of them. Maybe one I didn't meet, but all the other I met. Also from the kibbutz Nir Oz, Arbel Yahud and
Of
Gadi
course.
Moses, that they are from the last people that release. And yes, it's terrible stories. Even, Omer Shem Tov, and I spoke with Maor Jan, and they told us stories that it's Louis. Louis. Yes, I
came
spoke with
to
him a
Rome.
lot of. Yes, you made it. The story are terrible, and the evidence, they told us that the condition of the hostages now is so terrible, because deep inside the ground because the Hamas afraid that we're going to try to release them. They're deep inside, they torch without food, and it's so bad. So I meet Tzagauker at the time she's fight to her own son and all the other mothers and fathers, and I'm involved in the Kikar HaChatufim, what we say. So I meet them and I speak at the media for the hostages, and hostages is my mission now. And my kibbutz is also, particularly my kibbutz is my favorite now. And because of the time, now it's the time to start to build something and also to fight to release the hostages. It's gonna be parallel. We work on this mission and this mission together because we can't wait till all of them will release and then to start, because we will not have a community and who to speak with.
So let's hear now Yossi, and it's linked to the question that we have from Milo. We have a question about are the young generation still want to live in a kibbutz, and if you open it to foreign people to be part, like people who make aliyah, or let's say Italians who could wish to come to live in Israel, could they be included in a kibbutz? Because we know, of course, a challenge to live in Israel today is so complicated and so expensive. We will see after the rebuilding of all the situation after the war, of course, but the kibbutz is also a model that offers an opportunity to young generations. So this is part of your model and challenge. So maybe it links into the piece that Yossi will explain now. Okay, maybe we go back to the questions, to other questions afterwards. So Yossi, אנחנו איתך עכשיו.
Thank you very much. I want to say to all of you, grazie mille to all of you. And I want to thank also Yzhar and Eli Shtivi for being so brave in representing the personal tragedies and the story about the community. It's not easy, because we all know that hardship is no strange to the Jewish people. Along all our history, we face hardship. Some of them, like the Holocaust, have been major, and we, as human, we only remember the short history. But I would like to give you, before I will talk about the rejuvenation and the plans to revive the community and the place, I want to add another perspective, why the 7th of October was so devastating. And if you go back 20 years before that horrible day, you realize that the communities of Nir Oz and Be'eri and Kfar Aza and the entire region, they suffered from many, many rounds of attacks from the Gaza Strip. Many hassles, many terror, many rockets, many bombs, about 6 or 7 rounds of atrocities. But these communities developed resilience and perseverance along the 20 years before the 7th of October. And that's what makes the 7th of October so horrific, because it drilled and cut through the perseverance fabric that was created in 20 years, that totally tarnished that fabric. And that's the drama around the day, which, if I had to think about one word in English that describes 7th of October, it's one word: desecration. Desecration. The elderly were desecrated. Our women were desecrated. Our men were desecrated. Our children were desecrated. Every house in Nir Oz, apart from 4 houses, was desecrated. I've witnessed that personally during the project with Yzhar. I've visited there many, many times. So desecration is the point. But we should remember, we Jews, we are no stranger to hardship in our 3,000 years of history. And there's one thing that will never be desecrated, and this is our spirits. Our spirit will never be desecrated. And because our spirit will never be desecrated, as Yzhar mentioned rightfully so, we need to fight for the return of the hostages every day, but alongside fighting for bring them home, as our Jewish traditions dictates to us, to never forget them. Alongside to that, we need to rejuvenate the community. We need to bring about life into the community. We need to bring about hope, creativity, imagination. And that's, I again thank you for the opportunity. I will briefly share with you what me and Yzhar and many other great people like Adi and others are doing in kibbutz Nir Oz, but for the greater region of Otef Aza and the greater goodness of the country of Israel. We have decided that in order to revive and rejuvenate the place, we will have a combination of university graduates that graduated computer science, information system, educational science, bring them together into Nir Oz, give them the love and the expertise into the artificial intelligence era. There's a huge gap today between university graduates and what they study at uni to what is required for them in the workforce, in the actual career. And that brought about an opportunity for us to train them, but in a unique way. We train them by deploying them to do volunteering work at the community, deploying artificial intelligence at schools at Nir Oz and Otef Aza, deploying artificial intelligence solution to the agriculture industry in Otef Aza, deploying artificial intelligence into the industrial community in Otef Aza. So we have an intersection point where via philanthropy, we develop the graduates, but the graduates volunteer at the community. So the community is alleviated, the graduates are alleviated, and it's easier for them to find meaningful jobs and hopefully entrepreneurship. And when you look at an impactful life cycle of imagination, Imagineering, academia, artificial intelligence, with some beautiful community activity that it's going to be around the campus, that's how we are going to rejuvenate the place. We are going to make it vibrant. We're going to make it a place where, like Yzhar's father, Zichrono Livracha, he graduated the same school in Haifa that I did. And he left Haifa and Tel Aviv in order to build a country. He left all the great opportunities he had, that he could have developed his own personal wealth and well-being and comfort, and he chose to go to Nir Oz to build a country, to build a fabulous family, to build a fabulous community. So it's our obligation, and your obligation too, because you are brothers, to join forces and to make sure we go back to this place and we rejuvenate it, because that's what our ancient culture dictates us to do. And this is exactly what we're doing. We bring together great volunteers from the academia, from the industry, experts in artificial intelligence, very beautiful pedagogic plan that is led by project-based learning, so the community enjoys from that. All the long-tail economy that is situated at the Otef Aza is going to benefit from that talent and investment. So simply put, you heard the tragic stories, the personal stories, the regional tragedy, the national clusterfuck tragedy that we all encountered. All the people of Israel and all the Jewish community in the diaspora has felt to its bones the ramification of that date. I heard you asking Yzhar, why didn't the army come? I find this question very interesting because, in my humble opinion, an army should not come, an army should be. So the situation on that date, that the citizens were the front line to the Nukhba, Hamas terrorist, and the army is behind the citizen, is unheard of in our history, is unheard of in our culture. Now, whilst we are so impressed with what's going on, we should remain humble, and we should not forget that we have brothers and sisters still at the hands of Ishmael. So what I would like you is to look into our project, which is a beautiful novelty because it encompasses education, Zionism, rejuvenation, human care, and brotherhood. And if you find it interesting and you want to take part in that, we welcome you to take part in that. We extend an invitation for you to look into what we do and to give us a hand in your support, which is much needed for us to rejuvenate the community, to rejuvenate the kibbutz, to rejuvenate the entire Otef Aza. And we welcome you to come and visit because we are 100% sure that we're going to be successful in that mission. We are obliged to do that. Like Oded gave his obligation and built a community, Yzhar is obligated with me and others to amplify that obligation and to fulfill it. So grazie mille to all of you. We really appreciate your time, your thoughts, your sincere identification with the situation. And we would love to stay in touch and join forces with you to fulfill our mission.
Yossi, is it possible to explain in few words, because I saw the PowerPoint of the presentation, so is it possible to explain in few words the concept of combining the artificial intelligence, agriculture, and the way that you will create this opportunity to integrate back and rebuilding the opportunity to work? Because that's the issue, is to have a work, not only
Absolutely.
To go to the house. So I think really the element that is of interest is to show that it's not only saying to people, I will give you the money or I will rebuild the house, so now go back. But to give people the energy through the option of a work and combining with innovation and artificial intelligence. Before you answer, I will just share for the people on the chat, but on the Zoom, but also with you, two things. One is that I just received a message from the Ministry of Education from Italy. Okay, so Valditara for all the others. So he was writing to me, of course, from time to time, we write messages at very early in the morning or very late in the evening, but to share situation of preoccupation. So I was just writing him the kind of like this, we are desperate, we are preoccupied in Italy for a lot of anti-Semitism. And I told him, look, we are listening to this project and we know that we can combine to the despair to add hope. So he was making his congratulations to the project. So first of all, just to share with you that this is also with the Minister of Education. And for the hostages, just to share for a small experience of a student from university who is writing who is presenting his thesis of graduation. So, you know, in Italy, usually like you make a very elegant version of the thesis when you go to discuss it and so on. It's not only the digital version. And the dedication he wrote for the thesis is to the hostages. And he says, this I want to dedicate because it's about the thesis is about demography and how situations of immigration change people and so on. So he dedicated it to the hostages, saying that probably they don't know that he exists, but he exists also because of them. So this is very intelligent sentence.
Wow.
That captures the way that Jewish people feel today about the situation. So please go ahead.
So first of all, thank you. And I want to simply explain your first question about the impact of the project. So the project is not just about rejuvenation of life. It has a purposeful program that addresses much bigger problems that the area is suffering from. So the Otef Aza region is surrounded by 4 academic institutes, okay? Starting from Ben Gurion University towards Beersheba, going west, it's a college called Sapir College, which is situated in Sderot. If you heard of that, it's a very large college. Going northwest, you have a college in Ashkelon. That's pretty much are the 3 universities surrounding the Otef Aza, okay? These 3 colleges are suffering from many, many years of discrimination and underinvestment in terms of academia investment in Israel. As such, these regional students go and spend 3 and 4 years. They graduate practices like computer science, information systems, and others, and they do not participate in the job market in Israel. That's problem number 1. And that problem exists for many, many years. Problem number 2 belongs to the entire Israeli academia and probably the entire academia in Italy, because it starts from Stanford in the West Coast in the US all the way to Sydney in the other side of the world. And it's a problem called the junior problem. Have you heard about this problem, Noemi? Junior problem means in today's reality, artificial intelligence introduce major challenge to any workforce, any career. The disruption starts from lawyers, accountants, engineers, software engineers. Everyone almost can be replaced by an AI agent that is trained to replace the human. As such, graduates from all over the world, not just in Israel, have a declining numbers of participation in the workforce. So what we do in Midreshet Binah BaLev, why the name Binah BaLev? Binah BaLev means wisdom at heart. Artificial intelligence is boring as an automation system. We want to add to this graduate how to imagine, how to solve problems for agriculture, real estate, pharmaceutical industries, because we Jews, we've always been creative because we were led by belief and imagination and doubting and arguing. So we want to install these qualities to the graduates so they will dictate the next wave of innovation of artificial intelligence. I run a company that does AI, and I know that it's the wisdom at heart that dictates the innovation. The ChatGPT, you ask him a question, he can only answer based on information that he has learned. But if you train the graduates to ask the right question and solve the right problems, you bring them opportunities for impactful life. And employment is very important. And entrepreneurship is very important. So the key program, Naomi, in Midreshet Binah BaLev, Wisdom at Heart, is to mobilize these graduates to drive the regional and Israeli economy to a leading position. Like we are leaders in the cybersecurity space, the next 10 years, the revolution will dictate which countries are pushing forward and winning. So we have built a pedagogic plan that all universities want to partner with Midreshet Binah BaLev, because we are 180 degrees approach, practical approach, to just studying. You don't need to go to any uni today to study. The entire information, you can access it via artificial intelligence. But artificial intelligence cannot teach you how to imagine, how to doubt, how to be creative. It can automate your imagination. It can help you deploy. So the course that we are deploying to the graduates is fascinating. And it's going to have a beautiful economical impact on the kibbutz, on the region, and I totally believe on the greater economy of the state of Israel. So this is a program that you should be proud to support. Okay?
Yes,
It's not an epistemic process of here's information, let's spoon feed you the information. That belongs to the past. You will see in 5-10 years, the entire school and education system worldwide is undergoing massive changes. We are leading this change with Midreshet Binah BaLev, starting in kibbutz Nir Oz. We're going to turn on the light in kibbutz Nir Oz to the rest of the country. Did I answer your question?
fascinating. No, fascinating, and I hope next time I came to visit Nir Oz a few times in the last month, but hopefully next time I come, there will be also the midrasha, really fascinating. Allora, se ci sono domande, allora qui you have some questions here. You have a question. How do you think your advanced world can coexist with people? It's a little difficult question.
It's okay.
How do you think your advanced world can coexist with people without a future? Maybe, Daniela, it's better you give a more precise, you precise the question a little bit. Who is without a future?
She said, thank you, Yossi. Your work is so interesting. Yes, she did.
Yes, but the question about, maybe I didn't understand well the question. The Palestinians, okay. How do you match your world, which is very advanced, with energy or with a view to recover even and in spite of all the terrible horror of 7th of October, with the Palestinian that, according to Daniela, they are without a future? I'm not sure they don't have a future. It depends on a lot of reasons if they can have a future.
Look, I can relate to the question in a way that first and foremost at this stage, I want to contribute and to devote my effort for my brothers in kibbutz Nir Oz and the vicinity of the region. That's in a focused and local manner. In a more value-based relation to this question, as a humanist, I hope and pray that all Arabs at large will go back to a few hundred years ago where they were participating in the knowledge economy. Not many people know, but the Arabs invented algebra and many, many science. the fact that they are suppressed by tribal and tyranny-based regimes, it's a tragedy. But excuse me, I don't have time for that tragedy now. I want to focus on kibbutz Nir Oz. I want to focus on Otef Aza. I want to focus on the state of Israel. And it's about time people will take responsibility for their own divines.
All right.
And I ever say that I say, you either catch the vision or you catch the bus. It's your choice. Me and Yzhar, we focus on the vision right now. And again, we appreciate you sparing the time and your interesting question. And we feel that you are fully heartedly involved in the process, from the personal stories and from the entire ramification that the country has observed. And it really gives me a warm feeling to see that and to experience that through this conversation. It makes me proud, actually. It makes me proud.
I think that, okay, we will go now towards the end because for you it's very, very late, and hopefully this, we know.
What do you mean, Naomi? I'm going out now. It's early.
No, I know that we have, every night has its wake up in the middle of the night, and so we follow this situation. So hopefully, who knows if this night will be a little better than the other ones. But I think, so the community of Torino, but many people on this call are not only from Torino, but overall in Italy, the feelings, there is really mixed feelings. And it's not that we have, first of all, it's very hard to give really to be assertive on what is right and what is wrong to be done as a solution to the war in Gaza. So of course the suffering is a lot, but we feel the distortion that arrives from the Italian TV. People have different opinions, of course, on the Israeli government and what should be done or not should be done, and what can accelerate and what can not accelerate, or what gives a lengthier situation to the liberation of the hostages. So we know it's very lacerating and very difficult, and there are different positions and different opinions. I think everybody really strives for the liberation. Of course, we cannot judge, and we are not in a position to know better. But what we want to transmit to you is to know that even if people discuss or have different positions, it's because they all wish for this result to go on. I personally think that the example of the people and places near the border and the Otef Aza in the Gaza envelope is the people who really believed in coexistence and believed that there is a way of living together with the Palestinian. So maybe the hard question is for you who were you were so convinced of this coexistence. Do you think today that there is a different approach to this belief and convincement? Do you think that the Palestinians, you should not trust them, or so much time should pass, or such a different leadership and different situation that really will make it doable again? This is maybe a question for Yzhar and for you, Yosh. Yes.
I can answer.
Of course, I know it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. And my father and my mother, there was a peace seeker, and they act for it. And they believe in two-state solutions, also for the Palestinians. And my father took, sick people from Gaza to Israeli hospitals. And he done it 2 weeks before he kidnapped. So when you ask what is the solution, I think the answer is education. And what happened in Gaza at the last 15 years, from 2008, when the Palestinian, the Abu Mazen people from PLO was in Gaza, then the Hamas took Gaza and took responsibility about everything. Education, it's Hamas. Hospitals, it's Hamas. Whatever you want to do in Gaza, it's belong to Hamas. And as Hamas say, they want to destroy, vanished Israel. So this is the problem, education, because it starts as a small group of 10% from the Gaza population, and it's became 80 or 85 that believe, and people that send their own kids to the schools, they teach them how to shoot Jews and how to shoot with rifle, and they should banish Israel. This is a problem of education. Why we close our eyes and we let them behave like that in Gaza? It's a mistake. Now we know it's a mistake. But this, what was. And we can't do nothing now about what. There is many things that Israel has done wrong to the Gaza people, but we can't take responsibility of what happened in Gaza now, because they became something different. And even my mother say, I don't believe what I saw there. People that beat her with sticks, put knife, torch people, in the streets, women that shout and say it's okay. So something break between the Jew and the Palestinians inside Gaza. But if you say, if there is a chance that something going to happen between the Israeli people and Gaza, I believe, yes, there is a chance. But the key for that is education. You should start a different education now all over Gaza. Take the power from Hamas, new education, give them hope, and maybe in 10, 15 years, people that are now, they are 5 years old, at the time they will be 20 years old, we will find partners that won't leave us. We want good economic. We want everything that's good in the world. I hope they will have it. I don't have nothing against Arab in Gaza, but what happened in Gaza and what they show us, how they deal with the population, it's not, if they attack the army, this is between countries. At the time they attack the old women, kids, rape the people in Israel, cut heads, whatever they do, you saw it in the movie. And it wasn't just a couple of soldiers that say, okay, we're going to play with the population. It's order from Sinwar. It became from the upside to the bottom. So we have a big problem now. And I hope at the end of this war, all the hostages will release and the population of Gaza will have something different, and definitely new education, new condition, new everything. But right now, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
I have a slightly different view. I think before we invest in the Gazan education, we should invest in Israel's education first. We have many, many challenges inside our family that needs to be restored, and we need to thrive for unity within the 12 tribes before we try to address ancient other problems. So, and on top of that, I love history, and I had great teachers for history, and I think what we see now across the Middle East, that the Western addiction to dictate structure and cultures and political structures for Arab and Muslim countries, they totally failed. You look at the Sykes-Picot agreements, they do not survive tribal regions. The tribal cultures have their own history, their own way of life, and the French and the Brits and the Americans and the Russians have tried for years to mold and to educate and to influence. Guys, look at the reality. You see Iraq, it sounds like a country, but you have Iraq for the Kurds, you have Iraq for the Sunni, you have Iraq for the Shia. You look at Iran, there's 27 minorities in Iran. The Persians only amounts for 42% of the population. You look at Egypt and you look at Jordan, and tell me, there's many of you that were born before 1967. Yasser Arafat was a student in Cairo. He was an Egyptian. The motivation to build this Gaza Strip and Judea Samaria, I don't recall. I study history for many years. I love it. I don't recall such entity with roots that you can say this is an entity that has educational problem. So I say, okay, for now, we have suffered such an event in our history that let's fix our home first before we worry about others. And it's about time we let others take responsibility for their own thrives, for their own ambitions. We've been a peace-seeking people for many, many years throughout history. We did not chase a war with Iran. Iran has been bashing Israel and the States for 40 years, saying, death to America, death to Israel. I never heard a person in Israel walking down the street saying, death to Iran. No. So let's be humble and focus about our own problems first. If others wants to take an example and follow through in the good examples we provide, I think we will extend hands as humanists to make that happen, because we are humanists at the end of the day. But the recent event showed us, you know the term in German, Untermen. Remember, the Nazis were diminishing the value of the Jew to an Untermen. It's like underman. The Hamas did it in 8 hours, what it took the German to do 7 years. So with all the respect, I'm just sharing with you my views. I'm not terribly worried about the education system in Gaza Strip as we speak. There's so many things we need to sort out in our own family. Let's do that. And later on, we will devote efforts to other problems. That's my personal opinion, sorry.
No, I'm not sure it's different. It goes in parallel to what Yzhar was saying, and it's an additional need and challenge that we have as Jewish people.
It's a parallel bypass. My road is longer.
Yes, but I of course, education and it's is a basic issue. And when we say two-state solution, we think about a state in our concept of what the word state means, and it's not copy-paste situation, of course not.
We use Western terms. We use Western terms in education.
Western terms and Western culture. And Hamas knows our culture, knows our terms, and uses it to their own propaganda. We know it very well. Okay, so maybe we can wrap up this evening, and for all the people who were on the Zoom, if you have messages or proposals, or you wish to stay in contact with Yzhar and Yossi, you have the small presentation that we shared and circulated, and we received from Adi. I sent it to Giulio and to Marta, so you have it. And of course, we can bridge upon us. So you know you have friends in Italy and in Torino and Milano, and people from all over Italy who have participated this this evening. And if you come to Italy, of course, we will be happy and to be with you, host, and share your initiatives.
Grazie mille.
And in Rome.
Grazie
Ok.
mille.
We have
Ciao a
Rome.
tutti. And also from Rome, yes. So, allora, buona serata, buona per quello che insomma adesso siamo serata bella avanzata, ma insomma speriamo di avere una serata, una nottata tranquilla e di svegliarci domani con un pochino meno shock e sconvolgimento. Grazie a tutti per essere presenti con noi.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Volevo avvisare che l'evento è stato registrato e che verrà messo sul canale YouTube della Comunità Ebraica di Torino e di Anavim che l'ha appena creato. I want to advise you that the whole evening has been recorded, so it will be available with all the links to the projects on YouTube channel of the community of Turin and of Anavim that has a program this evening with you. Thanks you very much.
Thank you. All
Thank
the
you.
best.
Bye, shalom,
Bye
Bye, good night.
Bye.
Grazie mille ai tre relatori e grazie a Noemi che ha fatto una ottima introduzione, un'ottima conduzione della serata e devo dire che le tre relazioni, perché sono state tali, the three relations are so different and so enthusiastic and so positive, and so we are very, very, very happy with you, and thank you very much, and thank you to Noemi.
Thank you, Nomi. Thank you, Nomi, for everything, sweetie. Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy. יזהר, חיבוק חזק חזק לאמא יוכבד בלב שלנו. שלחתי לידי את התמונה שהייתה לנו ביחד ברומא, היא תשלח
אני
לך.
אשלח לך, כן.
וממש בהצלחה ושיהיה לך כוח ובאמת חיבוק ענק לכולם. להתראות.
תודה.
Grazie a tutti, grazie a tutti
Ciao a
e
tutti.
per un'esperienza forte è stata.
A presto, grazie a voi tutti.
Grazie, a presto.
Laila Tov.